Believe it or not, this tribe lives at the bottom of the sea. But how is that possible? In the crystal clear waters of Southeast Asia, there is a people who literally live by the sea. If you want to find out what happens with this tribe on a daily basis, join us and let's dive in. Number 1. The origin of the sea nomads. The fascinating legacy of the BAJAU emerged in the vast waters of Southeast Asia, where an extraordinary civilization thrived among the waves of Malaysia, Indonesia, and the Philippines. For generations, these exceptional navigators made the ocean their true home, developing unparalleled maritime skills. The process of adapting to the marine environment occurred gradually as ancient coastal communities began to realize that the sea offered abundant resources and endless possibilities. The decision to abandon life on land was not merely a choice, but a complete transformation that revolutionized their existence. The first groups established strategic maritime trade routes, creating a complex communication network between different islands and archipelagos. This aquatic civilization developed its own navigation system, based on astronomical knowledge and specific regional weather patterns. Their primitive vessels constantly evolved, incorporating technical innovations that allowed for longer and safer journeys. Their mastery of ocean currents became so precise that they could predict climate changes and the movements of fish schools with extraordinary accuracy, ensuring their survival and prosperity in a challenging environment. Number 2. Extraordinary physical adaptations. The BAJAU people's bodies represent one of the most remarkable cases of documented biological evolution in modern history. Scientific research has revealed surprising genetic modifications in their spleen, which is 50% larger than usual, functioning as a natural reservoir of oxygen-rich red blood cells. Their unique physical traits include alterations in the structure of their eardrums, which have developed exceptional resistance to the pressure of deep waters. Their cardiovascular system has fascinating peculiarities, such as the ability to automatically reduce heart rate during dives, conserving energy and oxygen efficiently. The muscle structure of their upper limbs has evolved to enable more efficient movement in the water, with significant development of the dorsal and pectoral muscles. Their visual system has undergone impressive adaptations, allowing their pupils to dilate extraordinarily to capture more light in deep and murky waters. Genetic studies have identified specific variations in the BAJAU's DNA related to oxygen metabolism and physical endurance in aquatic environments. Number 3. Traditional floating habitats. The BAJAU's naval constructions represent a perfect blend of functionality and maritime cultural tradition. The lepa, the traditional houseboats of these people, are built using ancestral techniques that incorporate specific knowledge about material resistance and hydrodynamics. The selection of wood for construction follows strict criteria, prioritizing species with high density and natural resistance to salinity, such as marine teak and aquatic mahogany. The internal structure of the boats features a complex system of multiple compartments, including specific areas for storing drinking water, dry provisions, and fishing equipment. The design of the floating kitchens incorporates natural ventilation systems that direct smoke away from living areas while protecting the fire from maritime weather conditions. Communities that opt for stilt houses have developed sophisticated anchoring techniques, using combinations of chains and ropes that allow the structures to move harmoniously with the tides without compromising stability. I have a question for you. First, I'd like to tell you that it's possible to keep up with the biggest curiosities of our world every day. But for that, you need to be subscribed to our channel. So, have you subscribed yet? If not, take the opportunity to subscribe now. Now that you've done that, let's go. Number 4. Ancestral fishing techniques. The fishing strategies developed by the BAJAU represent an extraordinary compendium of marine knowledge accumulated over the centuries. Their techniques include specific methods for different depths and weather conditions, using handcrafted tools adapted for each type of marine prey. They developed a complex net tethering system that allows for the selective capture of species, contributing to the sustainability of marine resources. Knowledge about fish migration patterns is intrinsically linked to the observation of lunar cycles and variations in ocean currents. The BAJAU fishermen created unique methods of underwater communication, using sound signals and specific vibrations to coordinate group fishing activities. During night fishing, they developed sophisticated techniques to attract fish using various types of natural and artificial lighting, leveraging their understanding of the behavior of bioluminescent marine organisms. Number 5. Maritime culture and traditions. The maritime rituals of the BAJAU transcend mere cultural practices, constituting a living heritage that permeates every significant moment of their lives. Birth celebrations include a special ceremony where the baby is gently immersed in the crystal-clear waters at sunrise, marking their first contact with the element that will define their existence. Traditional healers prepare amulets using specific corals and rare shells, believing in their protective power for the newborn. BAJAU music incorporates a complex composition of rhythms that replicate the different states of the sea, from calm to the most intense storms. The musical instruments are true works of art, crafted from carefully selected and treated marine materials. Special drums, made from cured stingray skin, produce unique sounds that echo underwater. Annual festivities follow a calendar based on lunar cycles and fish migrations, with specific rituals to give thanks for marine abundance and ensure future prosperous fishing seasons. Number 6. BAJAU wedding ceremonies. BAJAU weddings are grand celebrations that can last for several days, transforming vast areas of the ocean into extraordinary festive settings. In preparation for the kanduli, families spend weeks building elaborate floating altars, decorated with colorful fabrics that dance in the wind, and garlands of iridescent shells. During the machi, the main moment of the celebration, dozens of boats form a perfect circle on the sea, creating a natural arena for the rituals. The masters of ceremonies, known for their maritime wisdom, conduct special blessings using water from 7 different ocean depths. The wedding feast features dishes that tell stories through their flavors, with culinary techniques that transform seafood into true gastronomic works of art. The dance of the newlyweds mimics the movements of marine creatures, symbolizing eternal union, like the ocean currents that never cease. Number 7. Maritime Trade System. The BAJAU Trade Network establishes a complex economic system that connects communities scattered across thousands of kilometers of ocean. Their navigators develop precise trade routes, mapped using natural references such as coral formations, ocean currents, and star patterns. The pearl trade follows strict classification protocols, considering characteristics such as luminosity, shape, and rarity. They established revolutionary preservation techniques for seafood, using specific combinations of sea salt and local herbs to maintain the original flavor of the food for long periods. Commercial negotiations follow ancestral codes of conduct, where the merchant's reputation is directly tied to the quality of their products and honesty in transactions. They develop their own system of measurement based on natural elements, such as specific shells for different quantities. Number 8. Education and knowledge transmission. The BAJAU educational process represents a sophisticated system of knowledge transmission that seamlessly integrates maritime theory and practice. The first swimming lessons begin in early childhood, with specific techniques that develop lung capacity and aquatic motor coordination. The traditional curriculum includes detailed studies of marine biology, with children learning to identify hundreds of fish species and their behavioral characteristics. Practical navigation lessons incorporate advanced knowledge of astronomy, meteorology, and oceanography, allowing young navigators to interpret natural signs with extraordinary precision. The mentor-apprentice system establishes deep relationships for knowledge transmission, where each young BAJAU receives personalized guidance from an experienced master. The techniques of boat building are taught through practical projects, where each student actively participates in the construction and maintenance of community vessels. Number 9. Traditional marine medicine. The BAJAU's medicinal system represents a marine pharmacological treasure, developed over centuries of observation and experimentation. Their medicinal practices include the use of more than 100 different species of seaweed, each mentally cataloged with its specific therapeutic properties. The process of harvesting these plants follows a strict traditional protocol, considering lunar phases and specific depths to ensure maximum medicinal potency. BAJAU healers have developed unique techniques for extracting bioactive compounds from marine animals, such as using the mucus of certain fish species that contain natural antibiotic properties. Underwater massage sessions represent a unique form of therapy, where both the patient and therapist remain submerged, taking advantage of hydrostatic pressure to treat various musculoskeletal conditions. Their knowledge of medicinal corals includes the precise identification of more than 50 species with healing properties, used in treatments ranging from respiratory problems to skin conditions. Number 10. Maritime arts and crafts. The artistic expression of the BAJAU manifests through sophisticated techniques of working with marine materials, developed over generations. Their artisans master complex processes of shell treatment, including specific methods of drilling and polishing, that preserve the natural luster of mother-of-pearl. Traditional jewelry incorporates exclusive inlay techniques, using coral, creating pieces that tell stories through intricate patterns, inspired by ocean currents. The textile dyeing process utilizes more than 30 different species of algae and marine invertebrates, producing a unique palette of colors that withstand constant exposure to salt water. Wood carving follows precise techniques, considering the density and fiber direction of tree species adapted to the saline environment. Each handcrafted piece undergoes a ritualistic creation process, where artisans work in synchronization with the tides and lunar phases. Number 11. Navigation by stars and currents. The BAJAU navigation system constitutes a complex set of knowledge that integrates traditional astronomy, oceanography, and meteorology. Their navigators developed a mental celestial map that identifies more than 200 different star configurations, each associated with specific routes and fishing seasons. Reading ocean currents involves interpreting multiple natural indicators, including water temperature, wave formation, and the behavior of specific marine species. They developed unique human echolocation techniques, using specific sounds to identify depths and underwater structures. Their knowledge of weather patterns includes identifying more than 50 different cloud types and their implications for navigation, allowing for accurate weather forecasts several days in advance. Number 12. Underwater rite of passage. The initiation ceremonies of young BAJAU represent a complex process of physical and spiritual transformation that can last several weeks. The preparation begins with a specific fasting period, followed by breathing exercises that gradually increase lung capacity. The underwater training includes advanced techniques of body control, allowing the initiates to remain calm at depths greater than 30 meters. During the main ceremony, held during the full moon, the youths must complete a series of underwater challenges that test not only their physical abilities, but also their knowledge of the marine environment. Traditional milestones include specific tattoos made with natural marine pigments, representing different levels of mastery achieved during the ritual. Number 13. Festival of the Luminous Waters. The Festival of the Luminous Waters represents the peak of the BAJAU festive calendar, coinciding with the period of the highest intensity of bioluminescent plankton. For 3 consecutive nights, the communities hold elaborate aquatic performances, involving over 100 divers in synchronized choreographies that create complex, luminous patterns in the dark water. The floating structures built for the festival incorporate traditional naval architecture techniques, creating stable platforms decorated with naturally reflective materials, such as fish scales and polished shells. The festival's cuisine features unique dishes that use edible bioluminescent marine species, prepared according to ancestral techniques that preserve their luminous properties. Nighttime competitions include underwater orientation challenges, using only the natural light produced by marine organisms, demonstrating the BAJAU's extraordinary adaptation to the nocturnal oceanic environment. Number 14. The BAJAU underwater language. The BAJAU's underwater communication system is an extraordinary linguistic achievement, developed over centuries of adaptation to the marine environment. The underwater sign vocabulary contains more than 700 distinct signals, each with specific variations that allow for communicating nuances and complex details. Divers have developed specialized lip movement techniques that, combined with controlled air bubble release, produce sounds audible at distances of over 50 meters underwater. The system includes a sophisticated hierarchy of emergency signals, with different levels of urgency indicated by the intensity and repetition of the gestures. The transmission of knowledge for this language follows strict protocols, with apprentices initially practicing in shallow waters before progressing to communications at greater depths. Underwater sound signals are categorized into 5 different frequencies, each designated for a specific type of message. Number 15. Sustainability and marine conservation. The BAJAU's commitment to marine preservation manifests through sophisticated conservation practices developed over generations. Their underwater conservation zones, known as marine sanctuaries, are managed through a rotational system that considers lunar cycles and species migration patterns. The community's cultivated underwater gardens encompass more than 30 different species of algae and corals, each selected for its specific role in the marine ecosystem. The rotational fishing system follows a complex calendar based on detailed observations, of the reproductive cycles of more than 100 different marine species. Reef restoration practices include innovative coral transplant techniques and creating artificial habitats using biodegradable natural materials. Number 16. Hierarchy of BAJAU women divers. The social structure of BAJAU women divers forms a complex hierarchical system based on skill, experience, and traditional knowledge. The guardians of the depths undergo a rigorous selection and training process that can last decades, mastering not only deep diving techniques, but also specific knowledge about underwater currents and marine species behavior. Their responsibilities include detailed mapping of collection areas, identifying new mollusk beds, and monitoring reef health. Training involves the development of advanced breathing techniques that allow for prolonged dives without equipment, using specific methods to control heart rate and oxygen consumption. The specialized tools developed by these divers are the product of years of experimentation, including variable mesh nets and hooks adapted for different depths. Number 17. Traditional naval construction technology. The art of BAJAU shipbuilding represents a unique fusion between maritime engineering and traditional knowledge. The builders use specific wood selection techniques, choosing trees exposed to marine winds that have developed fibers more resistant to salinity. The wood bending process involves a series of meticulous steps, including treatments with specific mixtures of natural oils that increase the material's flexibility. The sealing system developed combines 3 different layers of natural fibers, each treated with specific resins that create a long-lasting waterproof barrier. The construction rituals follow a specific lunar calendar, with certain steps performed only during particular moon phases to ensure the vessel's greater durability. Number 18. Marine monetary system. The BAJAU economy has established a sophisticated valuation system based on renewable marine resources. The shell classification system considers multiple factors such as size, color, rarity, and preservation state, with more than 50 different value categories. The evaluation of pearls follows strict criteria that include an analysis of luster, shape, size, and surface quality, with a grading system recognizing over 100 different quality levels. The financial record necklaces use a complex coding system where each type of shell, its position on the necklace, and the way it is tied represent specific information about commercial transactions. This system allows for detailed tracking of commercial exchanges over several generations, maintaining an accurate record of debts and credits between different BAJAU communities. I want to give you a special invitation. Do you see this video that is now appearing on the screen? I picked it especially for you. So click on it right now and go check it out. Well, that's it, and see you next time. Curious one.